On October 17th, 2023, I uploaded my first YouTube video, and to celebrate the channel's second year uploading, I figured I'd challenge myself and rank how long I could survive in some of the most popular video game worlds in history, with games like Mario, Halo, Helldivers 2, and many others. There are 7 other tiers that are available for this ranking, and trust me, there are plenty of games on this tier list that I would be dying in very quickly, and many others that I would find interesting ways to survive, and to say the least. I'm willing to kill whoever I have to live, okay? Put more video game characters into slavery. Once again, don't take what I'm saying out of context. So, without further ado, let's get into ranking. Let's go ahead and start off strong here with Warhammer. I'm going with I am dying instantly. Do you know how many broken things there are in Warhammer? It's actually insane. The amount of enemies that can just absolutely decimate and destroy entire galaxies just because they want to, the adaptability they have. Listen, even if I am a soldier, right? If I'm a super soldier, I'm a space marine here, right? I probably still wouldn't survive, but we are just assuming here that it is just normal me. If I'm sent into the Warhammer world, no gear really, nothing, I am dying instantly. It doesn't really matter where I'm being sent to, it doesn't matter what I have on me when I'm sent, I am most likely dying instantly. There is no going around that. Animal Crossing, on the other hand, lifetime, okay? Now, some people may think that Tom Nook would absolutely decimate them in bills, right? That's not me. You know what I'm doing here? I'm going to assassinate Tom Nook, okay? I'm going to take out, I forget the 2 little guys' names. I'm going to kill them, okay? And then I'm going to frame it on one of the characters on the island, okay? We're going to have a big murder mystery. And then what will end up happening is I will then eliminate Tom Nook, okay? And then he will be out of the picture. I don't have to worry about him whatsoever. I am causing chaos on this island. I don't care who I have to go through, what I have to do. I am not going to pay my taxes. That is just a joke. That is just a joke. Don't take it seriously. But Tom Nook is dying by my hands. Fortnite. If it comes down between me and 99 other people, I know what I'm going to do. I hate to be this guy, but I'm going to bush camp for a lot of the games, stay back, let other people eliminate each other, and I imagine that's what a lot of people are going to do. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an AoE item of some kind, like grenades, or, you know, just build, right? Build random structures across the map to almost block off areas, in a sense. And then there will be one other person left. Me and him. I have a sniper rifle, assuming I do. I take him out. If I don't have a sniper rifle, I will most definitely have an assault rifle of some kind. Okay. I take him down easily, alright? I have had some, I guess, work with firearms before. So because I live in the great USA! But I'm not worried about this too much. But I mean, eventually, after doing a couple matches, I will lose, I would say. So I'm going to go with a week, probably. Halo. Assuming I would just be going against the Covenant, I would say I would have, if I'm a citizen, a day. If I'm a Marine, a week. If I'm a Spartan, I probably have, it depends on the Spartan, or the iteration of Spartans, I guess, but I'd probably have several months to my name. Putting me into the world as I am currently, how long would I survive? We also have to factor in here the flood. So, yeah, I'm living for about, like, an hour, maybe a day if I'm lucky, but I'm just going to go with an hour. I do not. Actually, I'm going to go with a day. I'm going to go with a day because there are a lot worse on this list. And quite frankly, I do think there is a possibility that I could live for a day, 24 hours. I do think I can manage living that long. I think I might have the skills to maybe do that, but not for much longer than that. And it's because there is a option that is arguably just as worse, if not more worse. Doom. If you're not a sentinel or the Doomslayer himself, there is a low chance that you are surviving for any decent amount of time. All right, like very low chance. I would say, in this world, if I was just placed in the middle of it, I would say it's a little... is it higher than Halo, though? Is it worse than Halo? That's the question. Is it worse than Halo? I think Halo's a little worse. Actually, no, I think Doom is a little worse. At least with Halo, I have a chance. If I do die, it'll be a lot more painful in Halo than it would be in Doom. But I feel like in Doom, I would die quicker than I would in Halo. I feel like that's just how it would be objectively. So, you know, it sucks, but that's probably how it realistically would be. Red Dead Redemption 2. Assuming I'm with the Vanderlyn gang around the beginning, I would live for several years, easily, maybe even a lifetime. But if this is later on Vanderlyn, yeah, I'm going out with everyone else. The group falling apart, I'd be out of there. Honestly, eventually I would probably be found and killed if I was part of the Vanderlyn gang. But I wouldn't say a lifetime. But I would say several years in the RDR2. I would say. Helldivers 2. Ooh. Do we go with an hour or instantly? I'm going to be completely honest here. I'm going to go instantly. I don't think there is a world where I could survive for an hour in Helldivers 2. I think I am pretty much dead as soon as that pod drops. Because we're not given any buffs. Right? We're not super soldiers. These enemies are insane. Assuming this is on Super Helldive, right? Yeah, I mean you're dead, you're cooked if you're a Helldiver in Helldivers 2. But don't worry, that is not treason against Super Earth. I would never. I love Super Earth. I live for Super Earth. Fallout. So I think with this, we're going to assume this was after the bombs dropped. Because if I was there while the bombs were dropping, you know, I might be dead instantly. Possibly. But this is assuming here that this is after the bombs dropped and we are actively in the nuclear apocalypse and we are trying to survive. Radiation would kill me pretty fast if I didn't... Yeah, I would die pretty quickly to that. I could do the things I would need to do to survive, though. I am fully willing to kill whoever... This is going to sound so deranged. I'm willing to kill whoever I have to live, okay? To live and carry on and just make sure I don't die. I feel like multiple skill sets that could be very valuable in a setting like this. And so maybe I'm kind of crazy here. I think I could live for several months. Mortal Kombat. This is going to be tough, because Mortal Kombat is absolutely broken. However, I will say, if you're not a if you're not a main character, basically, if you're mitigated to a side character, like an NPC, then you're good. Like, you're pretty much good. It just depends on the events you're currently being placed in. Let's assume here, though, that it's around the tournament time, right? Actually, let's say I'm in the Mortal Kombat tournament, right? Assuming I'm fighting these insane people, I'd be dying instantly. But there'd be training time and all that to account for. And plus, I could be an NPC. I don't really know what situation would be put in here. So I'm going to go safe and say I would die within a week. We're going to put it higher than Fortnite because I feel like Fortnite could do a little better. But depending on the role, in Mortal Kombat, I would die within a week. Yeah, definitely dying. Five Nights at Freddy's, lifetime. Easy. The easiest. This is so incredibly easy. Okay, you know what I'm doing? First night. I'm going to say, screw it. I'm going to leave this job and never come back. Or I tase the animatronics. Okay, cool. They get damaged. That's fine. I saved someone's life. I leave, okay? Never talk to again. Whatever. After the first night, you leave, okay? And I can survive the first night easily. I can survive all 5 nights if I have to. That first night, though, after that, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm taking my money from that first night, and I'm heading out of there. The money's not even worth it, okay? Because you don't get paid nearly enough for this. So I'm just going to say, screw it. We're out of here. That's what I would do anyways. So, lifetime, very easily. Titanfall. Ooh. I guess I could just put Apex and Titanfall in the same category, I guess. But whatever. We're going to say Titanfall, it's in the war. Apex will be the Battle Royale. So Titanfall. There's a lot going on there. A lot of Titans. I don't know. I'm going to give it a day, probably. I could survive a day. At least I think so anyways in Titanfall as a soldier. But beyond that, no. If I'm a pilot, I could survive for a week, maybe? A little more? I don't know, it kind of varies. But if I'm assuming I'm just a soldier, which is probably the case, I am dying very quickly. But not as quickly as some of these other games. Borderlands. This is interesting. Because I could be crazy enough to live here for just enough time. But I imagine, though, as soon as I head outside, something insane is going to happen. Like, there's going to be a comically large piano that's dropped onto my head with explosives. I feel like that's going to happen. I'm going to say a week here. Not as bad as Mortal Kombat, but better than Fortnite. Because there's just a lot of crazy stuff that goes on. But I would also have those same effects, though, so a week, probably. I don't think I could go for a month, though. Probably not. Lethal Company. Well, we are dying, within an hour. To put it simply, we are dead within an hour. The amount of insane stuff. You have to rely heavily on your teammates to keep that in mind. So if I'm working with some awful coworkers, then I'm done. I'm so done. Because if those people fumble insanely hard, guess what? They're not dying. We're all dying. We're all dead, okay? We are all dying so quickly. Apex Legends. I feel like in Apex Legends, I would die to a random sweat who is still, for some reason, on the game before I could even really do anything. However, if I get good teammates who are competent, I feel like we could survive for a week as well. Actually, hear me out. Maybe a month. I think a month. The only reason I say this is because Fortnite has way wackier things than Apex Legends does. Think about this. Fortnite, you can turn into Goku pretty much any point in time and just use the Kamehameha or whatever the heck people call it. The comments better not roast me for that, I swear. But Fortnite has way more whack stuff than Apex ever could, okay? That is just a fact, okay? I am not going to be dying to literally Doja Cat's mace. That's not happening. I'm not dying to Godzilla, and I'm not dying to the Megazord. That's just not happening. So I feel like I could last a month. Assuming I had good teammates, we got respawned and everything, I could manage that. Plus, I'm getting paid for doing this. And what guy doesn't like money? This guy likes money right here. So, honestly, a month. I think I could do it. I think I could do it. Resident Evil. I don't think I'd live a day, to be completely honest. Is it worse than Lethal Company, though? That's the question. Is it worse than Lethal Company? I think we live for only an hour. But is it worse than Lethal Company? I'm going to be honest here. I think it's worse than Lethal Company. I think it's worse than Lethal Company here. You are... Yeah. Yeah. You're dying. Pretty quickly at that. So, I don't have much faith I'd live too long in this game. In this universe. Either way, so... Palworld. I'm living easy. Easy lifetime. Probably... Let's just rearrange these really quick. Palworld is probably going to be the most difficult in the lifetime ranking there. But... they definitely, though, I will say about Palworld, if I could just get all those critters and enslave them all and just work for me and build the base I would need and also be able to take down the pals that would get in my way, like big pals or whatever, that could work. Thinking about what I just said, I sound awful. But I'm going to be putting the pals to work. I feel like I could survive a lifetime in Palworld. I don't think that would be much of an issue, honestly. Plus, I would have good company. So, you know, no complaints there. God of War. An hour. In an hour. Worse than Lethal Company. Is it worse than Resident Evil? It probably is. It's probably worse than Resident Evil. It's bad. It's bad. Once again, literal Norse and/or Greek gods you are going against. What am I supposed to do? As a normal guy, what am I supposed to do against these people? Okay? Plus, there's so many random monsters. I'm just not living. I'm just not living, brother. I'm gone within an hour. Alright? I'm donezo. Dead Space. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. An hour or instantly? I feel like I could manage for a little bit in Dead Space. I'll probably put it out there. Dead Space is awful. Don't get me wrong. If you were in going into Necromorphs, ooh, dude. You are donezo. But, however, I do think you could survive a little longer there than you could in something like Helldivers 2 or Warhammer. I think you do have a chance to live at least a little longer in Dead Space, in the Dead Space world, than you would in something like Helldivers 2 or Warhammer, God of War, Resident Evil, whatever. I think you do have a bit of a chance because the setting and technology you have there would be very helpful. However, you would be restricted to most likely just a ship and or a planet. That's the big downside here. So, yeah, not a very fun time, I would say. Mario and or Mario's World. All right, so what do we think here? Lifetime, pretty easy. We're gonna put it below Animal Crossing, though. So the thing about the world Mario, or whatever the heck you want to call it, I don't care, is if like a 4-foot plumber can do it, I'm pretty sure I can too. If he can do it, I can do it. Alright, I think I got this in the bag with relative ease here. The only problem would be Bowser, but also, that dude is super easy to defeat, alright? And also, I could just not save Peach. Like, brother, everyone's said this so many times, but dude, she keeps leaving you, Mario. She's not worth it. There are plenty of other Peaches out in the sea. Like, dude, she is not the only one for you, okay? Just, yeah, I would survive a lifetime in that world. Assassin's Creed. I don't know. I feel like with enough training and the simulation and everything, I feel like I could survive a month. Maybe that's a little generous. Maybe that's a little generous. I don't know. We're gonna go a week. We're gonna go a week. Because I feel like a month is a little generous for being an assassin in Assassin's Creed. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a little... I don't know. Actually, no. I'm right. A month. I don't know. It'd be difficult, yeah. But I feel like I would live a pretty decent amount of time as an assassin, though. I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be too bad. The Witcher. We're gonna put that. We're gonna move some stuff around here. We're gonna put that in a day, and then Titanfall for a week. Right there. We are not living in the Witcher universe for long, at all. A day maximum, because it's insane. It's insane. Yeah. I am not living long at all. Pokemon. Lifetime. Yet again. We're going to... Is this easier than Mario? This is easier than Mario. This is easier than Mario. And this is easier than Animal Crossing, that whole assassination scheme, which, by the way, is a goated scheme. I am so smart. Thank you, viewers, for complimenting how smart and intelligent I am. I really appreciate that. Pokemon. I am living, and I will be capturing every single Pokemon, and none of them will ever faint, ever. How about this? I just don't become a Pokemon trainer. I'm just a guy. I would literally just be the same way I am now, but except Pokemon would be living around me. Okay? The only time that something may ever go wrong is if, let's say, Xerneas, or whatever the heck, just goes insane. Or Arceus goes insane and just obliterates everything. But that's not going to happen, though. So, lifetime, I would say. Hollow Knight. Now, you may think, oh, I'll survive a week, maybe a month easily. That's not happening. That's just not happening. Now, if you scaled everything down to size with actual bugs, and you were just a person who's put there, lifetime, brother, easy. But that's not happening, though. You are going to be bug-sized. Okay? And I think you live in Hollow Knight. I would say you can go for about a day, probably. I would say it's about right. Because stuff can get crazy sometimes. Stuff can get crazy there. Undertale. Undertale. I mean, you gotta date your name pretty much, so go with that. It's probably gonna be a little more difficult than Hollow Knight. I would say that's about right. Okay. Last of Us. This is a Fallout situation where I am willing to do heinous things to survive, okay? I am not dying. So, I would say naturally, I would go several months. But even more than that, I feel like I could go several years. I only say that because Fallout's a little more difficult. There are things out there that are more dangerous than The Last of Us. The Last of Us, I feel like I could realistically live for a couple years, right? Because, honestly, one of the biggest dangers in The Last of Us is honestly just people. And that's the same thing with The Walking Dead, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I could live a decent amount of time. Once again, maybe I'm just not looking at it with the right, pair of glasses, the right perspective here. But, that's just what I think. Elden Ring. Instantly. I don't know if it's at the top of instantly. We're going to put it below Warhammer. Elden Ring, I am dying on the spot. On the spot. Yeah, there is no way that I'm ever living in Elden Ring. You basically have to be the chosen one in order to live, and I will not be the chosen one. Being completely honest, I will not be that guy. So, dead. The Walking Dead. Telltale. Walking Dead. I'm going to be honest here. People may not look at it this way. I'm going to Lifetime. Now, this is dependent on where you live, your negotiating skills, and what you're willing to do, and how you are as a leader, okay? I feel like I could fulfill those roles. I feel like I could live for a lifetime if I needed, or not if I needed to, but I feel like I could do that. I think I could be brutal enough, but also a good enough leader and be able to look out for other people, assuming I did have other people with me, where I could live for a lifetime, and if we just avoided other factions and groups, I feel like I could do it. I feel like I could. Alien Isolation. A day. A day. Yeah, the alien's taking me out in a day. Listen, as much as I wish I could say I could survive a xenomorph for more than a day, I can't. You can't. If you think you can, you're lying. Get out of here. But yeah. I don't really know how on earth I would realistically survive this. Among Us. I'm dying if other people are being absolutely stupid. If other people are being absolutely stupid, oh gosh. I'm just going to keep to myself. Or maybe not keep to myself. It would depend on the situation, right? I feel like I could make it for Among Us. Assuming these are different rounds. I feel like I can make it for, I don't know, a month probably. I don't know, about a month. Like a month or something like that. Until Dawn. Until Dawn. Assuming I was going against the Wendigos, I do think we could. I could. Several months. The reason why I was about to put in several years is because, well, if we made the right decisions, then we could just leave the cabin. We could be just fine. Well, that won't always happen. Mistakes will be made. Stuff will happen, but we will try our best to get out of there, assuming we were stuck there. Actually, I'm going to drop it down from several months because that doesn't really make much sense. Either it goes in a week or a lifetime. There is no in between here. Because if we make dumb decisions, it's a week. Like wraps. If it's a lifetime, or if we can find a way to escape and make the right decisions, then it's a lifetime. But for the sake of making things interesting, we're going to go for a week. Minecraft. This is going to sound crazy. I'm going to put it in lifetime. I say that because, once again, if you have enough survival instinct, you can go on execution, you have good intuition, and you know the game, then you have a high chance of surviving an entire lifetime. You play your cards right, go with villagers. If you find a village in Iron Golem, you're already off to an amazing start. You stay there for a while, gather up resources, fortify the village, and set up an entire base camp there, and bam, you're protected for life. Plus, get to put more video game characters into slavery. Once again, don't take what I'm saying out of context, but you get infinite money, okay? Infinite resources. You are set for life, brother. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Cyberpunk. Ooh. Assuming I'm not of any importance, a month. Because something's going to happen, dude. Something's going to happen. There's going to be some destruction, okay? There's going to be some big cover-up. So I'm going to go with a month, probably. Probably above Assassin's Creed in... How long I'd survive. Yeah, I'd probably live shorter in Cyberpunk than I would Assassin's Creed. But still, like, I feel like I could live a decent amount of time there. Because I'd still have to adapt to the tech and all that stuff. And I'd have to get some replacements and augmentations. But I think I could do it, though. I think I could live there for long enough, I would say. So, that's what I think anyways, though. And that is the final ranking for this tier list. So, just to summarize, let's go through every tier and my final thoughts and reasoning as to why I'd survive for the amount of time that I would. Starting in lifetime. We have Telltale's The Walking Dead, and the reason I could see myself surviving my entire life in this world is because number 1, the zombies aren't much of a threat. Number 2, I feel like I would have the survival skills and grit to live there. And 3, I would be extremely cautious while simultaneously being a good enough leader. For Minecraft, slavery. For Palworld, slavery. For Five Nights at Freddy's, slavery. I mean, I could survive the first night with ease and then just quit after that initial first night. For Mario, if a tiny Italian plumber can do it, I'm pretty sure I can do it as well. That or I just don't save Peach. For Animal Crossing, I simply assassinate Tom Nook and the other villagers who stand in my way. And then I take over the island and all of its resources. I'm finding out a lot about myself today, huh? And Pokemon. I just don't become a trainer. Several years. For The Last of Us, it would offer a bit more of a challenge than something like Telltale's The Walking Dead. But I could still make it for several years by avoiding people and lurking quietly and stocking up heavily while minimizing trips to gather resources while relocating my camp. And for Red Dead 2, assuming I was in Blackwater and I work with the Vanderlyn gang, I can just keep strolling with them or silently leave without them being aware and I hide out. But eventually the authorities would probably catch me either way. Several months. For Fallout, I still think I would have the grit to survive, but something insane would probably take me out before I could make it even to the 6-month mark. A month. Cyberpunk, everything is whack, and being thrown into a setting like that where I would be unfamiliar with the tech would already give me a significant disadvantage. But pair that with all the dangers of the neon cities and yeah, I'm dead relatively soon. Assassin's Creed is iffy, because if I'm some random NPC then I'm living my entire life, no competition. But if I'm an assassin then suddenly things become a bit more complicated, and I'm not sure that I'd make for the best assassin exactly. In Apex Legends, I would simply play it safe most games and lurk around while using good comms with my teammates, and I think I could survive and win several games before eventually some Wraith no-scope crabers me from across the map. I hate you, Wraith! Among Us is interesting, because if everyone is absolutely stupid, then I'm dying instantly. But if we all work together and use logic, reasoning, and common sense, then we could win every time without fail. So it'll be complicated. A week. Similar situation here with Mortal Kombat. It depends on the situation and setting, because if I'm a fighter, then I'm dying day 1, but if I'm a rando, then I can survive for a good while, so it honestly just depends. If I'm a soldier in Titanfall, I'm going to die within a week guaranteed, but if I'm a pilot, then I may have a chance to live longer, but it's still not guaranteed. Borderlands is kinda a similar thing in situation with the other apocalypse settings, in that I have the grit to do what I need to do, but this place is so comical and wacky that I could die at any point in time from anything, honestly. Fortnite is whack, and has Goku plus Kratos, so I'm dead within any given amount of time, but it just depends on when I'm thrown into the game's timeline. Similar thing with Until Dawn that we had with Among Us, people just can't be dumb, but if they are, then it's a death sentence. A day. Doom is pretty simple. There's nothing I can do to fight back really, so I'm cooked. Halo, I have a bit more of a chance, but I still will inevitably die from either the Covenant, the Flood, or the Halo Ring. The Witcher world is cooked beyond belief, and I don't see a way that I can really survive, especially when I'm so unfamiliar with a place like that. And I'm not the chosen one or a son of a witch, so yeah, I'm cooked. Undertale is OP, whack, and all around insane if you're a human. I get that a child lasted more than a day there, but I don't see a way I can do that unless I'm the main character, which I know I'm not, cause like, we're talking about me here, guys. Hollow Knight. I don't think I need to explain myself. Alien Isolation. Either way, I'm dead because I'm stuck on a ship that I am once again unfamiliar with, and that has a xenomorph on board. So yeah, safe to say I'm donezo if I'm thrown into Alien Isolation.
1 hour.
I shouldn't have to explain why I'm cooked in God of War. Anywhere I go, there will be chaos from somebody. Probably Kratos. So yeah, no, I'm living for more than an hour. Resident Evil is whack in the worst ways because the creatures in these games are so incredibly foul, and you'll just casually have superheroes here who aren't even superheroes and just want to destroy you. I mean, at least they got drip though. Dead Space. Yeah, I'm dead meat. Lethal Company is another Among Us situation where my teammates must be competent, but if they aren't, then we are all dying.
Instantly.
Jeez, my throat. Warhammer. No explanation. Everything in this universe is whack. Elden Ring. Yeah, unless I'm actually the main character, I'm not surviving, and even then, I'm still dying off rip. This place is so cooked. You might be thinking, oh, being a Helldiver can't be too hard. You're wrong. You may think that you do well, but you die and get replaced within 10 seconds and nobody will remember you and your legacy if you even had one to begin with. Unless you have an insanely good squad, you are not living for more than 10 minutes. And that is the tier list. Let me know what you guys thought of it down in the comments below, and let me know if you'd like to see a part 2 to this, and what other games you'd like to see me die insanely fast in. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a blessed night. You should like the video so I can get money. Ooh, you should comment so you can give me your thoughts. Ooh, you should subscribe so I can get money. Ooh, you should share the video so I get in the algorithm. Ooh.